Umidrang bah kejala konrad ki sangma uloong bak sorkar jela kandang pibnya lokamat ban peteng biang ya kalai kawan daki liengsuiñ na Delhi-Shillong. Ya kani umidrang bah ulo bynrap ya kan jubab umidri ketna transport ka sorkar jela Bah Dasakhiat bah lamari haka kenta keli jingkeli ke dorbar mang tengka jok yeng dorbar thawain ke jela haka khatsan terik luber arjar arwan. Uloong bak Flyby kedon ya liengsuiñ hendrai don ki jimenjur ki badang sakut haka ketna transport ka sorkar India. Haswa kani Bah Dasakhiat ulo pentip pada dap a ya ka cause notice syak Flyby kebalapan por menta ubnai ban penbiang ya kijing.com haba jubab ya ka jingkeli no nang thawain ka West Shillong constituency ba Mahendru rapsang halo ka jingbom don ka lake kawan da liengsuiñ na Shillong sa Delhi Bah Dasakhiat ba uloong ba ka Flyby ketemu nuan ra da spice jet ban lake penuan na Delhi sa Shillong na du balas dang ya ka no pra arajar arpo Henry na kadaw ka jingwan ka klam COVID-19 ka spice jet kamsim lala ban penbiang liengsuiñ sa Flyby bat kani kala penthut ya ka jingtemu.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Answer to star question number 96. A. No, sir, the Shillong Delhi flight is currently not operational. B. Sir, the reasons for Shillong Delhi flight being not operational are as follows. Flyby was chartering a spice jet for the Delhi-Shillong Delhi flight since its launch in December 2020. However, with the constraint of the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, SpiceJet was no longer able to provide its aircraft to Flyby on charter, leading to a disruption in the service. 2, sir, to resume service, Flyby looked at securing of an aircraft on dry lease, but however, due to the pandemic situation, this was not possible, leading to a further delay in resuming the Delhi-Shillong Delhi flight.
Mr. Speaker, sir, looking at the reply in B, Flyby is unable to fly from Delhi to Shillong at the moment. May I know from the Honourable Minister, when will the Flyby resume the service back?
Sir, as of now, I will not be able to give you the exact date or time on its resume of flying, sir, but because of the disruption, we did send them a show cause notice in the month of December. And they have requested us to give them time till the end of this month to resume their services, sir. So if they are able to resume the services, we'll go ahead with the agreement that was signed in 2020. But if they are not able to continue their services, sir, then we'll re-examine it and then look for a better solution to get this Delhi-Shillong flight operational, sir.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we'll wait at the end of the month for resuming back or not resuming back. Okay. So, with the opening up of tourism, flow of tourism in Meghalaya is opening up. May I know from the Honourable Minister how many flights operated from Delhi to Shillong?
Just this one, sir.
Sir, looking at the answer, that means the people in the state, the tourism, when we talk about tourism in the country for destination, Meghalaya destination, when we talk so much about tourism in Shillong. Recently, I had met a friend of mine. They are from Delhi. They said, we have one problem, is the connectivity. May I know from the government to take a serious step on this issue so that the tourist flow to the state from Delhi is not affected?
Yes, sir. I totally agree with you, sir. The route from Delhi to Shillong is a very concerned one. But, sir, this is the first step that we have taken in regards of flights flying from Shillong directly to Delhi and Delhi directly to Shillong. So we will look into this one, sir. If this one at all becomes successful, then in future we might be able to look up for more flights from Delhi to Shillong. And not only from Delhi to Shillong, sir, in fact, but from other metropolitan destinations as well. But first we have to study this one first, sir. If this is successful at all, then we'll further go ahead with it, sir. But the matter of tourism coming to Meghalaya, like you said these days, yes, sir, you're very right, and it's a matter of concern to the government, sir.
Sir, the next question is, so we have talked a lot about tourism, we have talked a lot about connectivity to the state of Meghalaya. May I know from the Honourable Minister, any flight expected from the neighbouring countries of Southeast Asia to Shillong Airport?
Nothing as of now, sir, as per my knowledge.
Any attempt to try to have this connectivity from the neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Myanmar, or Southeast Asia? Any attempt by the government for this connectivity, where we can expect a lot of tourist flow and other important works where the state is expecting to?
So, verbally, there were talks, sir, that we have just amongst us, thinking about initiating flights internationally, sir. But officially, nothing as of now, sir. But let us see, let us try to make our domestic routes, better first, and then maybe after that, so we can initiate the international route, sir.
Yeah, in the budget, it's been highlighted the chopper service route. May I know what are these routes for the chopper service?
So we are still working on them, sir. There are many helipads that needs to be developed, sir, in the state, in various districts, and we're still working on the finalization of this. But yes, there is a reserve for it, sir, and maybe as soon as we finalize the list, I will send it personally to you, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, from the reply of the Honourable Minister, we can draw a conclusion that Flyby as an operator has no aircraft of its own. So, may I know from the Honourable Minister, is it prudent to sign an agreement with an operator who has no aircrafts? Or shouldn't we look at options where we sign an agreement with an operator who has at least one or two aircrafts of his own, sir?
Yes, sir. I totally agree with the statement of the honourable member, sir. But this agreement, when it was signed, sir, it was signed in a very hurry basis, sir. And Flyby, which is also there in the agreement, sir, has promised us to, to avail a flight, to avail an aircraft, which is the Bombardier -Q400, sir. So based on this, sir, this is the first time that we're doing it. Also, a lesson to be learned, I suppose. So let us see, sir, till the end of this month, if at all it's able to provide us the service that we need, we want, then we'll go ahead with it, sir. If not, then we will, like I said, we will take another step and maybe move further with it, sir.
Sir, statement of the Honorable Minister. So this selection process was done through a tendering process. And in this tendering process, there were two parties that applied. And of course, both of them were asked to give the technical specifications of the airlines or the aircraft that they'll be using and how they'll be getting it. So the process that was followed was through a tendering process, number one, sir. And obviously the second party that had applied quoted very, very high compared to Flyby because they were using a jet. And the jet cost was much higher than a Q400. Number two, sir, this agreement was signed and the tender process was done before the COVID happened, sir. And the entire process of getting a wet lease for an aircraft had started by Flyby then during that time. When COVID came in, the entire movement of not just humans, but also of different kind of trade and all businesses, all took a hit. And that is a period when the entire movement and there was a huge, about 6 months where no movement of anything took place. It was very difficult for the engineers to come from different countries. The international flights were blocked. So it just happened right in the beginning of the COVID. And that is what led to the situation where they were not able to sign for the wet lease of the aircraft that was supposed to come in. So that is the history of why it happened, sir. Now they have signed an agreement for the wet lease. They are supposed to get an aircraft. In between, they had signed an agreement with SpiceJet to use the aircraft of Q400. But then that agreement between Flyby and SpiceJet got cancelled. And SpiceJet stopped giving the aircraft to them for usage. And that's why the entire process stopped. Also, sir, to make it also clear to the House, so the government gives a viability gap funding as per use basis. So therefore, since the operator is not operating, the government is not spending anything at this given time, point in time. So therefore, we are in the process to ensure that this flight starts. It's something that we have taken the initiative. We have a huge challenge because of the kind of airport that we have. There are a lot of restrictions in it. Normal Airbus and the larger Boeing 737s cannot land in this particular runway stretch because it is too small. So because of these challenges, only limited aircrafts can come in. So within these challenges and these constraints, we have tried to move forward with this. And we're trying to still find a way on how we could start this. The Flyby is in fact has got the wet lease aircraft now, but due to some technical clearances from DGCA and from overall, from the ministry, this entire process is pending. We are hopeful, sir, that we will see some kind of movement happening in the next few weeks. And if that does not happen, then obviously we will examine the entire process and see what will be the next step to go forward, sir.
Yes, Bajaj.
So may I know from the Honourable Minister, sir, whether any costs have been incurred in the leasing or chartering of this flight through Flyby, sir? And what is the amount that has been incurred, sir?
Yes, sir, we did made some payments, sir, to the agency, which is 2,582,000, sir, for 16 flight operations performed, sir.
Sir, is the payment also being made now that the flights are not operational, but then the MOU signed with the party is still valid? So are still the payments being made, sir?
No, sir. There are no more payments made, sir.
Sir, I have one supplementary question on that. Everybody is talking about airport and new helipad. We are the wonderful people in Meghalaya. Sir, I want to bring to the notice of the House that Baljek Airport was sanctioned in 1995 for the cost of 12.52 crores and inaugurated in the year 2008. Is there any plan to upgrade this airport in future?
Yes, sir. In fact, we are still working on Baljek Airport, sir. It's a very important airport, yes. We are still working on it, sir. And as soon as possible, we will get it operational, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, may I know from Honourable Minister in charge of Transport, the total number of flight operated in the Umrah Airport till date, sir?
So there are total 7 flights operational from Shillong Airport right now, excluding the one that is flying to Delhi because it's under suspension.
Sir, may I know from Honourable Minister, because according to the information that I'm talking about the last 5 years, when at the time that flight has not been operated in the state, at that time the government of India used to give subsidy for those flights coming to our state. So at present, is there any subsidy to all the 7 subsidy from the government of India to all the 7 flights operated in the state, sir?
So all these 7 flights that's operating in the state, sir, it is operated by the ministry, sir, under UDAN scheme. So there are no such thing as subsidies. They're operating by them. This viability gap funding is also done by them. Everything is done by them, sir. The only flight that is directly involved with the Meghalaya government is the flight from Shillong to Delhi, sir, which is under suspension.
Sir, since the Honourable Minister, because my question is about the subsidy, you already said till date that the government of India have already taken care. May I know how much the expenditure till date from the government of India or from that aircraft that have already been spent till date in our state, sir?
So the amount of payment that was made to the Shillong Delhi flight, which I've said 2,582,000, that is one expenditure that we've bared, sir, for the flight that's operating from Shillong to Delhi. For the rest of expenditure up and down, I don't have the calculation with me, sir, right now. If you want it, I can provide it to you later, sir, maybe, personally. Thank you.
Same, I know from Honourable Minister, is there any proposal from the government because in the course of the speech given by Honorable Chief Minister, he said that the big flight cannot land in Umrah Airport. Is there any proposal from our government moving him into the government of India to get that area be expanded, if it is in the same place or in other place?
Yes, sir. We have spoke about this from time to time, sir, in regards of expanding this Umrah Airport where we already have, and also at the same time looking for other locations, maybe to build a new one. But this matter is still under examination, sir, because there's a lot of financial involvement in it, and in fact, the location of the airport, which is there in Umrah right now also, so it has many constraints in regards of the feasibility of bigger aircraft to land. So we are still working on it, sir. And from time to time, I've been briefing this, even to the friends in the press and all. Many times I've expressed this, sir. So we are working on it, sir, and as soon as possible, we will try to resolve it.
Mr. Speaker, sir, on the reply to the question raised by the Minister and subsequently supplemented by the Honourable Chief Minister, we are made to understand that they are putting pressure on Flyby to try and get the aircrafts, which are the Bombardier type, on a wet lease basis. I understand when wet lease they mean that they get, with the aircraft comes the pilots also. So will the Honourable Minister put a little more pressure on Flyby to expedite this process so that the traffic from Shillong to Delhi and back can be operational and we'll benefit from all this?
Definitely, sir. But as I said, sir, let us respect the request that they have requested us, sir, to give them time till the end of this month. And we'll wait till the end of this month, sir. If they are not able to resume it, then, sir, we'll, as fast as we can, we'll look for another solution, sir.
Thank you.
Honourable Speaker, sir, from the replies that we've been hearing from the Honourable Minister in charge of Transport, it appears this project has failed. Though I thank the Honourable Chief Minister for his reply on the motive behind to ease the transportation of our people to go to Delhi. But I think, like the Minister admitted, the whole process has been done in a very hurried manner, not really putting themselves in a situation of exercising first. That's why my question is, when they have signed an agreement for an amount of 12,86,371 per trip to this particular flight, that is per trip to Delhi. Now, we know that they have made 16 flights only. Now, if we multiply this 12,86,000 into 16 flights, it comes to 2,05,82,000. Now, we have already spent 2 crores plus, sir, on 16 flights. Now, may I know from the Honourable Minister, how many passengers were there in this 16 flights?
So I don't have the information, exact information with me right now, sir. So I require notice for that.
Entire question that has been asked. Sir, I appreciate the concerns of the Honourable Member regarding the entire connectivity that is there. But sir, one has to realize that this was, in a way, a very important step that had to be taken. We needed to create that connectivity. We also needed to ensure that this connectivity was something that would be economically viable. While we had the viability gap funding given, we did not know what kind of response would be there. At the same time, we had to ensure that the price of the ticket would be something that would be within a certain limit. So the capping of the price of the ticket was also done to not go beyond 5,000 rupees. So this encouraged a lot of people to start going in. And obviously, sir, when the process begins, when a new flight starts, it's not something that we can expect that things will just, everybody will start using it. We do require time, or the company requires time to build it up. So I think putting this word of saying failed well, we agree that there are challenges, and we agree that there are going to be problems in it. And COVID did not help us in this whole situation. In fact, if we did not have the pandemic, I'm sure that we would have seen this entire process become much more smoother. Flights would have started. And as I said, with the limited constraints and situations that we faced, we tried to start this flight. So also to add to the other queries that came in, sir, that all the other flights are being given viability gap funding under UDAN. And UDAN has a restriction of 500 kilometers within kind of a diameter. So therefore you can, a radius, I'm sorry. So within that radius, the Government of India funds the viability gap funding under UDAN. And that's where the other flights have started from other capitals and other cities and towns in the Northeast. And also to add to the flights that are there for international flights, number one, we'll have to declare Shillong as an international airport. Number two, sir, verbally, I have had a personal communication with the Honorable Minister, Civil Aviation, saying that a connectivity to Sylhet and a connectivity to Dhaka would be something that would improve the business connectivity as well as tourist connectivity. So yes, we have started moving on that line also. And also to add to the entire question about Baljik Airport also, the process of land acquisition is on as we speak to expand the runway. And there we do not have the challenge where we have here in Shillong, where there are huge mountains which block the instrument landing systems operation, which actually leads to the inability of larger flights landing. So we are working towards creating a 2.2 kilometer plus runway in Baljik, and that process of land acquisition is on. We are hopeful that things will move much faster, sir. So I just thought that I'll just add to the reply that was given by the minister, just to supplement his reply, sir.